Yeah, whatever, Beyonce. You think you're all that. You know, it's funny. Total aside here. She's been on this kick about dignity and respect for women and all this stuff. And when she came out at the Grammys with her husband Jay-Z, they did practically a pornographic opening for the broadcast. And I'm like, yeah, that's really advancing women there, Beyonce. That's not objectifying anybody. Like I said, it was a total aside. Anyway, Sheryl Sandberg, the COO of Facebook, is the one that's putting all this together. And she said that while she and other women leaders are recruiting, women leaders she is recruiting were able to persevere despite the taunt that many of these little girls are going on with. She said the following: if you look at the world, women do 66% of the work in the world. Why is that, by the way? If it's true, why is that? Does it have anything to do with the fact that we've been telling men they are completely useless for the last 40 years? 50 years, 53 years? Does it have anything to do with the fact that we've said to men, yeah, thanks, you're just not that important, go away. We'll tell you when we need you, come back over here, but mostly just go away. Women produce 50% of the food. These are all stats. I don't know where she got these from. Women make 10% of the income, and women own 1% of the property. Well, again, women also deliver 100% of the children. So I think the fact that they're producing 10% of the average income, given that they are producing 100% of the children, is actually quite admirable. Women own 1% of the property. I just don't believe that. California is a shared property state. There's not a person married in California where the man owns everything. I think most states are. I think Sheryl Sandberg's just a bag of hot air today with all these stats. We are 17% of the board seats, she says, 19% in Congress. That's not enough for 50% of the population. We live in a world that is overwhelming, run, and owned by men. And men are evil, so let's kick them to the side. By the way, you know what she doesn't mention in any of this? If you study the rate of graduation, passing grades, literacy, and college placement, not to mention grad school placement, women have outshined men in all of those areas for like the last 30 years. Far more girls go to college than boys do. And I'm not sure how you can say that they're not becoming leaders when they're overwhelmingly the population that is getting the training and the education and the advancement in that education. How does that make any sense? 888-589-8840. But the premise here is that girls are not becoming leaders in junior high, because if they're not leading by sixth grade, there must be something seismically wrong with the universe. And then the assumption is they're not becoming leaders in sixth grade because someone said they were bossy. Do you think girls that are like really just naturally more quiet in personality, compliant, relationally driven, do you think that they're called bossy a lot? Or is it possible that it's just bossy girls that are called bossy? Huh. Things that make you say, huh. 888-589-8840. Let's go back to Rochelle. Now, Rochelle, you were explaining that you and your sister had you had a different dynamic with your relationship. Explain how bossiness factored in there.
Well, what's funny about that, what you're just saying, is that I am shy and quiet, and she, to the day, because of her bossiness, I don't know, has always been a leader and had been like the president of clubs and captains, and then now she's the store manager of the J. Crew, of where she works in town.
So being bossy in her childhood and being told she was bossy by her compliant, kind-hearted sister really set her back a bit.
Yeah, sure did.
Really held her back. She didn't achieve anything because somebody called her bossy.
You're right. You're right. No, she has always been a very independent, strong woman. That was her personality, and my personality was just not. I am not a leader. I'm okay with that. And as you were saying about the little girl, what about the little girl who is quiet? Was she ever called bossy? No, I haven't. I haven't ever been called bossy. But say there was a time doing a group study in school when say there was 4 or 5 in a group, and if those other kids are not paying attention, the work has to be done. Well, then I'm going to say, hey, let's focus. We have to get this done.
Mm-hmm.
And then in turn, I get called bossy. And this is in school. Yes, I just get called bossy for trying to lead the group in this project as a child. So I am totally on your side in this.
Well, Rochelle, I thank you. I don't know that I have a side. I like to ask very intriguing questions because I want us to not be fooled by the confusion. There's people dumping billions of dollars into the efforts to keep us all confused every day. And I feel like I'm just this one little lone voice that says, hey, we don't have to buy everything they're selling all the time. Sometimes we should actually think it through and see through it and peel off the stuff that's not real and get down to the bottom line. And the truth is that when we amplify truth, then we can all pursue clarity much easier, and it's just a better world in general. So thanks for the affirmation there, Rochelle. I appreciate it. Let's go to Johanna, who's calling us from Virginia. Johanna, welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough. So glad you're here.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I'm calling to lend my 2 cents worth to the category of being called bossy.
Okay.
And my perspective is that bossy is telling someone what to do your way, irrespective of their possible contributions. Bossy is saying, hey, let's go this way, and turn around and find out that nobody is following you. I think that what you do with the word bossy might be better served if, when telling the 3-year-old that, hey, you're being too bossy, you're going to have to find another way to get your friends to follow you. That's how I interpret bossy.
Well, and I appreciate that, Johanna. You know what's interesting about this, and I've spent a good amount of time working with a woman that some people would call bossy over the last couple of years. Her name is Danny Johnson. She's the CEO of about 5 different companies, and she has 5 kids and 5 grandkids, and she's just this amazingly gifted woman in the area of leadership and business development and so forth. She has said multiple times, and she does these seminars, and people come to them and so forth, that the real key to success in life overall, okay, it has nothing to do with asserting yourself. It has really nothing to do with being competitive or anything of the like. In fact, it almost has nothing to do with your actual skill set. That being successful in life almost always boils down to relationships. Now, stay with me here for a second, because here what we hear coming from these enlightened movie star, politician, Facebook COO women that have been in this campaign, what we've heard from them is to say, no, you need to assert yourself. You need to stand up. You need to ban bossy, and don't think anything bad about a girl who is bossy. Just don't call her that, and she'll be a great leader. I've discovered actually the opposite is true. The people I have found that have been the most successful are ones that, well, as bizarre as it sounds, they adopt a biblical idea where they seek to help others and meet the needs of others first. And as they do that, they grow influence with people, and then there's a team that is built up because there's an attitude of service to those that they are seeking to have a relationship and influence with. And as that relationship grows and is more stable and fulfilled over years, that trust and the strength of that just runs deep. Being a leader, I'm sad to say this for Sheryl Sandberg, it has nothing to do with being bossy. Being a leader has everything to do with building relationships and serving people. So if young women want to be really good leaders, you don't tell them to be bossy and not call it that. You teach them how to think of others first, and as they are using skill sets that they are acquiring and meeting the needs of others, they will naturally be lifted up, naturally be advanced. Every person that has been successful has always found some degree of that success in serving others. It's just a spiritual law. Can't really be disputed or argued with. Let's go back to the phones. Barbara is calling from Mississippi. Hi, Barbara. Welcome. Thank you for being with us. Kevin McCullough, glad to have you here.
Hey, this is a cool topic. I think we should spend more time on focusing on being secure in who we are as opposed to worrying so much about what other people say about us, because we can't ban every single word in the world. I mean, somebody's going to call us something negative, and you have to be able to handle that, know who you are, and just let it roll off of you. Even the words that are legitimately, that should be banned legitimately, you still have to deal with it, like the N-word. I've been called that so many times, I've stopped counting. But you have to learn how to let stuff roll off of you, be secure in who you are, and just keep pressing forward. And as far as would you be liked in the workplace, or you don't want to, fear being not liked, whatever, when you go to work, work is work. I like one of the things she said, and I use it as a Facebook status for, why can't we be about work while we're at work? Isn't that what we're there for? And what I have found with so many women in the workplaces, they are too relational. They have you all up in their business and want to be all up in their business. And I'm like, look, I have a family. I'm not here to be your family. I'm not here to be your friend. I need coworkers, and I need good coworkers. And when I go home, I don't think about y'all because y'all don't think about me. Let's be here, be on task, do what we got to do, and get the job done.
And then go home and live your life.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that, Barbara. Good stuff. Thank you for the call, 888-589-8840. Maybe you've got additional thoughts you want to shoot my way. My email always open, kmcradio@gmail.com, kmcradio@gmail.com. I'm also going to post these stories to the Facebook page today, so you can check that out as well. Let's go to David in Georgia. Oops, David just left us. Let's go to Kate in Iowa. Hi, Kate. Welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough. Glad you're here.
I'm excited to be on your show. That's wonderful. I love your show, by the way.
Thank you.
I think this is a great topic. And I think, a child could take bossiness too far. I think that's a responsibility of parents and maybe teachers to kind of channel that a little bit. But here's what I think. Grew up in a family, a lot of sisters, okay? My own family, 2 daughters. I have a granddaughter now, and she is 6.5. And what I have seen, my sisters were bossy. I thought they were. My daughters tried to boss each other around, and I tried hard to curb that. They were 7 years apart, so the older one always felt like she knew the best. Mm-hmm. She probably did in a lot of the time, but it wasn't her job to make these decisions for the younger. So a parent has to get involved, and I feel you need to really talk these things through, not squelch this. From what I have seen of my daughters, both of them pretty strong-willed. Today they're very successful. And there were times when I thought they were pretty bossy. I look back, and now I just think they were very assertive. They knew their mind. They knew what they wanted, and I had to stay on top of it. But at the same time, we had to channel it. Teachers channeled it. They played very competitive sports. There's ways to handle this. And if you're foolish as a parent, you let this stuff go, and when the child is wrong, you don't say anything. There has to be a time when you have to say, look, that was unkind. It's okay to have your own ideas, but you can't be unkind about it.
Yeah.
Now, my granddaughter, the 6.5, very, very bright child, her teachers have said, bossy. They complain about it a little bit, but they said she's very assertive. She has strong leadership skills. And they said to my daughter, she's going to run an ER unit or something someday because that's the kind of kid she is.
Well, and let something good come of that skill set. Please hear me clearly, friends. Thank you, Kate, for the call. Please hear me clearly. Not arguing that there aren't great leaders that should come as women to the forefront. I just don't think there's a need to panic about what percentage of leadership comes from where. Let's advance people based on skill sets. Let's put them in their areas of gifting. And let's not ban words from the dictionary to achieve some sort of artificial means. I'm Calvin McCullough.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast